Here we have Operation Brake Cable, Brake Pad Changeover by the Oracle O'Driscoll, as he is now become affectionately known. So the first job is the fairing's got to come off. So John, how do you feel about being my chief mechanic when I make it to MotoGP?
It depends on the pay, obviously.
Oh, you'll be very well paid, mate. I'm adding up all these little jobs that you're doing right now.
See, no problem. Just to remind you kids at home, there's a right tool for every job.
Here we've got a bit of a challenge to try and get this fairing off.
Got it?
Yeah, nice one. And here we have my bike without her side fairing. So naked. The fairing is on the floor.
.8mm spanner socket, and we're going to do away with the housing for the splitter for the exhaust pipes. Under here we have the splitter which splits both the pipes to the header. We're going to do away with that, and we're going to have some nice bad boy ones straight in. Okay, you see this bit's now loose? That used to hold the brakes on. I use the term used to. Right, now we're going to remove the brake hoses, which are held on here on the mud guard and on the caliper. Of course, Shiraz, being Shiraz, this bike doesn't work properly. 10mm spanner, please. Thank you.
I bet Jeremy Burgess doesn't ask Rossi to pass in his spanners.
Mr. Rossi wants to know what's going on his bike. You'd be doing well to go and hand over a spanner or two.
That's right.
Okay, so we're going to remove this from here, which holds the brakes in. That's probably redundant now.
Really?
No, we'll put it back on.
Oh, right, okay.
And be real quick with this.
So this is all the fluid coming out now.
Fluid's coming out of here now.
My bike's bleeding.
Right, now, if you don't mind, can you, no, I'll do it, you just, now we're going to squeeze out all the fluid. You can see all this lovely fluid running out of the reservoir, down the pipe, into the jam jar.
That's a special kind of jam jar, isn't it?
Yes, it's not
an ordinary one.
It's a strawberry jam, 50% extra free.
It has to be Chivers. Like, you can't use a normal sort of Sainsbury's Basics jam jar. These are made of a very durable glass.
And remember, brake fluid is extremely corrosive, so pass me one of those towels. So we wipe up any spillages as soon as possible.
Is it really corrosive?
Yeah, it's paint thinner.
Really?
Strip your paint. It takes a bit of time to eat in, but it will eat paint.
Okay.
Now we're going to remove the caliper,
Which has brake fluid in it.
which will have some excess fluid and of course the no good pads that we don't want anymore.
Yeah, rubbish OEM pads. To hold the bike.
Anyone thinking of doing this at home, make sure you have all the relevant equipment handy.
I'd say don't do it. Get John to do it because it would be bloody scary. I want to know if I brake from 160
That I'm going to stop.
that I'm stopping.
Okay. Notice on the end of there, what's on there?
Rust.
Copper grease.
Oh, is it copper grease? Right.
Yes, copper grease.
So look at this.
Okay.
Copper grease. Nice.
And we have one bike minus one brake caliper.
Bloody hell.
Now you're starting to worry, aren't you?
Those calipers have seen some action in their time.
Okay, now. Note the old pads. Plenty of meat left on, but obviously for a man of Shiraz's talent we need better braking.
And note that I use a lot of gear engine braking, which is why my pads aren't worn in 15,000 miles. And that takes more skill, my friends.
Right. Here we can loosen the brake pads, loosen the pistons. Note the pistons in there. We need to force those back into the caliper to get the new pads in because the pad will be thicker, therefore it won't go back over the brake.
Right.
Right?
Right, yeah, gotcha.
Can you get us the other ones?
These are performance friction pads as used by Troy Bayliss and are of a mixed compound which allows for aggressive braking and very, very sudden braking. So I'm told by the salesman.
Right, now we have some split pins holding the pin in. That holds the brake. The split pin goes through the little hole.
Yeah.
Through this holder here, which goes through here. The split pins hold that into the actual brake,
Oh, okay, okay.
which stops your pads falling out.
Yeah.
So we need to remove those. You notice the handy BT toolbox.
Which has a tool
A tool for every job.
for every job.
Okay, right. Quick lesson in brake. Here is the split pin.
Let's come on. Oh yeah.
That's what's holding your brake pads in.
Right.
Does that worry you?
Right. It's a very
One on each side.
it's a very small thing to hold 160 miles per hour being shaved off your.
Then we take the piston out. The cover falls off, and we can extract one pad.
Oh.
One pair of used, still very worthy pads.
They are. Just going to sell them on eBay.
You might do.
Probably would be worth it.
Now, note the difference in the thickness of the pad.
Okay.
I could measure it if you want to know the precise measurements.
Let's just have a look at the pattern. So there's two on the OEM ones. It's like split, and the other one is full.
Yes.
I wonder if that has a purpose.
This will have a purpose for cooling.
So these aren't going to get as cool.
This is going to get hotter.
So isn't that a bad thing?
Well, it depends on the compound of the pad.
Okay. So it might not be required.
Probably. Well, no, I'd say no. They wouldn't sell us them if they like that if they needed it.
Yeah, good point.
Right, so we're going to insert these back into the caliper. One either side. We have a little clip here that needs cleaning.
Which we like doing. Look at the degreaser.
Goodness, look at that, it's almost shiny already. So that little cylinder up there this is just a reservoir, okay? This is a reservoir,
Yeah.
which lets the fluid into this switch here, which is the master cylinder. When you pull the brake, pumps the fluid down the pipe into the brake, which then in turn forces these pistons together.
Close. Ah, okay.
Okay?
So without the fluid,
Yeah.
it wouldn't close.
No. No fluid, no close.
Fluid is a good thing then.